Greetings, petrolheads. Welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2015. I think I still have one car in my garage that needs restoring, and that should be this Royale Crown, if I remember correctly. I've had that in that garage for a long time, and yeah, that does look like it needs a little love. Okay, so let us begin by buying the parts. Again, this is just going to be sold. I already have a Royale Crown in my garage, and therefore I don't need a second one. Let's buy these. Let's get you onto the lifter right away, shall we? So we can also change rims immediately. Oh, that classic 03, that was the other ones I was considering. Now we're gonna be handling everything on the rear end of this car. So the trunk, the tail lights, bumper, and the last rim, of course. So, you got multi-link rear suspension on a front-wheel drive car, and we have McPherson's up front with a turbocharged four-cylinder engine, right? Yeah, that's exactly what this is. And let's sell all of this for right now and buy all the parts that we need. We need lower suspension arms. Excuse me? Oh, there it is. Can't. No double wishbones, no drive shaft either. This one. Full cover. Drive shaft. From the exhaust section, turbo. Should be the regular cross member. It is. Yeah. I think it's just one of these. I can't remember which rollers DN94 Turbo has. I think just one of those. That's the ones we need. And we need the measurement for this, this, this. Two of these. No rear drive axle, of course, because it is front-wheel drive. all of that. Here's sway bar A. So convene both A and B. No, two B's. A throttle. Don't need a pulley, I don't think. And we're done. Good, so let's lift this thing up. Actually, first, do we need to repair this? No. I like the way this thing looks. It's just, let's just agree on that. It is a very good looking car, especially from the front. It looks kind of Ford-ish. With that main grille. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with the way that, you know, a Ford Mondeo looks either. A modern one. The older ones aren't quite as pretty, but... Wait, yeah, I misclicked. Like the first couple of generations of Mondeos, they're not that good looking, I don't think. Oh yeah, we need to take that off first. So, if you haven't watched the most recent Let's Talk video, it was Let's Talk 10. The whole thing of getting a jack is, you know, not cancelled entirely, but it's gonna take 1 more month before I can do it. Reason being, I went to a bank. They said that they can give me a small loan right now because I only have 2 pay slips from my full-time job so far. Because before that I was only part-time, and if I want a bigger loan, then, you know, I can have one when I get a 3rd payslip. So effectively that means I just gotta wait for 1 more month, or work for 1 more month and then wait until I get that. And then we're talking. Then we're gonna be in an amazing spot. I'm really, like, I'm giving it, like, not just 100% at work right now. I'm giving it like 5,000% because I really don't, because I'm only an agency worker. And, you know, if there's anything I'm doing wrong, or if there's anything I'm not doing as quickly or as well as other people could, then they can just, you know, and just fire me immediately. And in order for that not to happen, I'm giving it like my very, very best. And I mean, so far the boss said he's content with me. But obviously they all say that at the beginning. And then all of a sudden, you know, things go south sometimes. Hope it doesn't work out like that here. But the boss said anyway that he needs me at least until the end of August, so that should easily do it. By the way, in the middle of August there is the Gamescom in Germany, which I will probably be visiting as well. I'm gonna try and see if there are still tickets available. There should be, and if there are, then I'm gonna order some and then I'm gonna go to the Gamescom this year. Preferably, of course, in the Jag, although now that everything is gonna be delayed by 1 month, I don't know how like, if I order the Jag in one month from now, I don't know when it'll actually get delivered. I don't know how long it takes to, you know, for a new car to get delivered from, presumably from Britain, because obviously the Jag factory is in Britain. I don't know if they have like any other factories where they really build entire cars and you know, export them from there. You know, of all companies, Jag isn't, you know, isn't as big of a company as, say, Mercedes or BMW, where they have factories worldwide and they can produce cars on, you know, multiple, like dozens of factories. Jag isn't that big, but you know, if there's one good thing about the Ford era, where Jag belonged to Ford, it's that Ford had money for Jag to expand. Obviously Tata has that too, which is the company that now owns Jaguar. And yeah, since they've expanded their model range in the past like 5 or 6 years, there should be plenty of money to also expand like their factories. But the one thing I'm kinda, that gives me pause is, you know, people always say, yeah, you gotta work hard for your entire life, and then eventually when you're older, before you go to rent or even in rent, you'll have amassed enough money to buy a new car. Yeah, but what if I want a new car now? The point is that in like 20 or 30 years or so, like probably 80 to 90% of cars on the road will be electric, and or they will just drive autonomously, like you just press a button and it takes you to your destination. And they're just not gonna be, you know, about the process of driving anymore. They're just not gonna be the same. And that's why I want a Jag now, when they're at their best, rather than, you know, later on when I don't even know if Jag will still exist in 30 years if they don't build electric cars. Also, there's gotta be, I don't think that we're at the absolute limit of what petrol/diesel engines can do yet. I think there is more tech to be developed that can make it so these engines make a lot less emissions. Like Fiat has the multi-air system that you know, makes engines more responsive. They make them more powerful and more versatile, more economical, less emissions, everything, because they have replaced the intake camshaft with a hydraulic system that is electrically controls the opening and closing time of the intake valves, and that happens so quickly and so responsively that it can actually adjust, like, I don't want to say any number now, like obviously 1,000 times a second when the engine is always rocking a couple of thousand RPMs when you're driving. But I don't have any numbers on how quickly it does that, but a lot more quickly than conventional systems. and that makes it so, you know, you save fuel, you produce less emissions, and the engine will only inject so much fuel as it actually needs at any given point. And that not only, of course, makes it more economical, but because less fuel is getting burnt when you're at a less throttle, you also make less emissions. And that is one step into the direction of making petrol engines, and presumably you can also plan this to diesel engines, more viable, more you know, up to date. Because, you know, it's obviously the car's fault that you know, global climate is changing, and all that stuff. It's certainly not the fault of, like, I don't know, big factories. Let's just go on a tangent at this point. Actually, I might have been talking about this before. Like, once before. I do seem to remember that I've been talking about this before, but, like, cars produce CO2, right? That's the same stuff that we all breathe out. Not only we all, but all animals and, like, pretty much anything that lives on this planet breathes out CO2. And if you're gonna be talking about cars producing way too much CO2, then you also have to factor in the fact that you know, the world is overpopulated, all things considered, especially in areas like India and China. But of course, there's, like, when it comes to cars, you can develop new tech to make engines produce less emissions, but, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do against overpopulation? Like, you're gonna just drop a bomb into the town center of, like, Shanghai or something, or Hong Kong, with the reason being that, you know, it's overpopulated. We need to kill a bunch of people so that they breathe out less CO2 and don't affect climate change as much. I don't think anybody would do that, and I don't think anybody would actually believe you that that is a way of solving our problem. Like, that is just ridiculous at that point. Just drop a bomb in the town center of Shanghai, saying, yeah, we need to do something about climate change. Like, people are gonna be looking at you like, what is wrong with you? But hey, I'm just saying that overpopulation also has a great effect on climate change. Not only is it breathing, also, of course, that, you know, the more people there are, the more cars there are, or at least the more people driving cars there are. And you know, it's the thing is that our economy is working in such a way that it constantly needs to grow in order for it to maintain itself. And or at least that's what they tell us. And let's for a second assume that is true. So if there's less people, and there's less people buying the products that are being built, and there's of course also less people producing them. But that means that the factory has in essence some wasted potential, in that it has machines that you know, they don't have the workers to use, or if they employ more people, then the percentage of workmen is higher comparatively speaking than it needs to be, because there's less people in general, because it's not overpopulated anymore in this theoretic scenario, and therefore we would get pretty much the complete opposite of inflation. We would get deflation, in that we have so much less demand than supply. We would produce a lot more goods than people need, and that would cause everything to be like ridiculously cheap, and the economy would pretty much break down, because factories can't afford to pay the workers anymore, or they pay them so little that they can still maintain themselves, but then you know, people don't have much money left over, so that things would need to get a lot cheaper. In general, pretty much everything you buy would need to get a lot cheaper. Therefore again, the factories would make less money, and they would have less money to pay the workers with. And the workers would have less money, can't buy as many things anymore, and yeah, it would all just come crashing down. So, because of that, because of economy, like, overpopulation is good for economy, because there's always gonna be people who buy something, and obviously look at all the shit you can buy in the grocery store these days. You don't just get like one. You don't just get like one brand of like milk or something. You get 18 different brands that offer 1 liter, like a carton of 1 liter of milk. Why is that? Why don't we just have one? Why don't we just have one producer for our country, and like one brand, and then maybe one cheaper sub-brand, and that's it? Like, I don't know what. It's the same thing with pretty much everything else. You don't just get one type of apple that's maybe being even produced regionally. You get 15 different types of apples in a big supermarket, and not only do you have to choose, like everything else that customers don't buy is just you know, rotting away and being wasted. We're throwing so much money away, like every single day, that now, of course, if we're gonna throw so much stuff away, and we need to make, then we lose money by doing so. Therefore, we need to make more money out of the products we sell. Therefore, everything that sells well is getting more expensive. Man, I don't know why I'm talking about the economy right now, but like, and I don't know how this relates to cars. But in any case, that was a little bit of trash talking. Basically, it's I don't even know how to call it. It's I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to sound smarter than I actually am. Yeah, that's how you could summarize that. Do we have 2 of these? Probably. So yeah, we're done with this car now. I like this color, but let's give it a fresh paint job so it's, you know, all shiny and whatnot. Oh yeah, good. And now we can sell this thing for $51,344. Good. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Car Mechanics Simulator. Leave a like or a comment if you did. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.